Welcome to the channel, everyone. Hope you're all doing well out there and enjoying yourselves. And this video right here is going to be my review and opinion of the closed beta test for Blue Protocol Star Resonance. I've enjoyed it. I have to say I've enjoyed it quite a lot. Sure, there were some minor gripes here and there within the game, but overall, for what it is, I'm happy. The outcome, the combat felt good, smooth. Sure, they were very limited on what can be seen or done, but it was fun. Graphics were good as well. I mean, not too much to complain. Sure, there were some instances or cutscenes that kind of just threw things off, but overall, it's really enjoyable and runs smoothly, surprisingly. There's going to be a point in time where I'm going to show you something that wasn't the case where it ran smooth, but hey, I was glad and very fortunate enough to play the beta the very first day when it was given out. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Overall, you essentially just kind of get rescued, is how the story starts off. You wake up into this strange town or world, is my working theory, with memory loss, not knowing your name and unsure what's going on or who you are. There's some beautiful scenes within the story. Heck, there's parts such as this one here. You get to enjoy the festival called the Sea Breeze Festival, if I remember correctly. Visually stunning. There's moments like this where it gets dark and serious, but also funny references and banter such as this one here, like, don't forget, I'm somewhat of a legendary adventurer myself. I have to say the game is very socially fun. I mean, there's events such as this where you essentially just dance for a whole hour and feel free to, just be AFK and do your own things. And during this time, you'll earn rewards, even legendary items during these events, which is really neat. There's these world bosses that you get to enjoy fighting with other people. Some pose a real challenge, especially if you're underleveled, fighting a level 60 boss at level cap of 20 at that time. However, this was my very first run at this boss, and I have to say, it is possible to obtain basically their essence, their will. And as you see, I got the Tempest Augur will, which I was stoked. I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way, my first run. Then you'll head to the main city and you get to speak to a person named Mason, who you get to meet early on within the game's story. Here, you'll go ahead and speak with Mason. After speak with him, it'll take you to a menu where you'll craft your imagines. And if you have all the materials such as I do here, bada bing, bada boom, that's how you unlock it and get to equip it to your, to yourself. There's also events that happen within dungeons. One of them being the Banelord, which is pretty rare, but it does occur. That happens within the dungeon itself. As you can see, I was fighting one during our run. The Banelord is a nice little challenge fighting within the dungeon. But once you complete the dungeon run, you get to unlock its box and select which items you'll like from it. And then there's the world bosses. And with the world bosses, man, it's something else. You're in a party of, I think, around 20 people. I'm not quite certain how many are shown there, but I feel like there's more. Eventually you'll just get to take on this challenge, and I think it happens during the weekend, which has me excited to see what other world bosses, if they do eventually include them down the line throughout the lifetime of this game, which I really hope that's the case, and I wish for the best success of this game. So eventually you'll gather with everyone, trying to do your best to take down the boss, chop at its health bar, trying to get as low as possible, and eventually just defeat it. It's just an overall fun experience, getting to try your best, trying to beat that world boss. And there's mechanics within their fights that are just fun challenges here. And I feel like once you become at a higher level than this, bosses will eventually just be defeated quite easily. And with hopes of higher gear and higher level, new bosses, harder bosses will come. And I love the break system, as you see here. This essentially just breaks their shield, breaks the tempo, and stuns them, where you just rack up on damage. And here's one of the mechanics where you hit these orbs, sending damage and allowing you to get down. Eventually, once you're done, they'll show you off and the type of rewards you get. I feel like it's a very good system here, with room to improvement for what can be done. But speaking about bosses, the dungeon bosses, each one very unique. They all have their little intros, each have their own cool little mechanics within their fights. And as far as bosses, very extravagant, very different from one another. And as you see here, we're just getting ready to hype ourselves up for the main fight. And as I'm saying, they do get very wild and very extravagant, such as this dungeon boss here. You eventually just basically trying to get through these doors before she one-shots you. And trying to get trapped because you'll stay there during the whole duration and get one-shotted as well. Each boss has their own introduction cutscenes where they throw you in the cutscene with them as well. They're all very unique, very different from one another, which I really like. And they all have their own, like, you know, they've been defeated cutscene as well. Each dungeon feels completely different and unique. Like this one, for instance, this one is a trial, basically like a tournament. You have to fight the champions or the challenges, ultimately getting to the final boss. And the final bosses on these dungeons are very fun to go up against. They also have what you'll see in a bit, especially in the harder difficulties, such as things as a wipe mechanic, where eventually, such as this one here, try not to get yourself sucked into these orbs. I think I was like the last one and barely got lucky. World chat is fun, with wild people you meet, seeing their IDs, even their icons within the chat, as you can obviously hear. Then there's people such as this, which I don't even know how they managed to get this done. Kinda crazy. But around the world, and mainly the town, it gets lively. You see people just posing, relaxing, chilling. Heck, you even come across seeing a drunk on the floor after a hard day of grinding of some sorts. The daily challenges quests, they're all very different. Sure, they are repetitive, but hey, they're daily quests, and with the likelihood of them adding more throughout the time. But here's a few, like a cleaning the void by defeating the boss, or another one such as this one, trying not to get hit by these bots, which can get hectic at times. If you do get hit, there's these circles on the floor that restore some health, as you'll eventually see, or you see here. Another one, you're trying to make a delivery within the time limit, avoiding traps and enemies alike. And then there's one that's like a quiz. Eventually, you'll just have to keep an eye out on what the questions are asking of you. And if you get them right, you get a buff. And at the eventual end to use against the boss. Then you also get these parkour challenges, which I thought was fun. And each one has a different pathway. They change over time. They disappear for a short time, which gives it that challenge. And as I stated at the beginning, combat's really solid. Graphics pretty solid as well. Sure, you can tell who auto battles, but majority of the time, that's not an option. Overall, I enjoyed it. Then there's this infamous iron lag. If you know, you know. It's the whole thing that had occurred in chat. It was hilarious, but man, it does get, you know, laggy like this. We put the stress test on this game quite a bit. It was a world boss crusade that we all were doing, hitting up the bosses, and they were able to gain, you know, that we were able to gain access during that time. It's just a fun challenge with everyone. And then you get to farm bosses here and there. I have to say, I hope for the future of this game to be successful. It has a very bright future. I was very fortunate to be able to join the beta on its very first day and to make it last all the way to the end with everyone else. Big old dance party. Honestly, combat can get some improvement. Overall life skills are there. I didn't dig too deep into them, but they are useful, something I will sink my teeth in once the full release of this game comes out, because it'll help you with potions, health, even armor and weapons. As far as pay to win, I really don't see pay to win here. I mean, it's the closest, like, it's just to pay for convenience, such as the battle pass, but everything else is just purely cosmetics, which I like for this. It's a very social interacting MMO. I hope for the very best of this game. and I'll be able to play with y'all when it releases in October, just enough time for me before I head to Japan for 3 weeks, especially for Halloween. And I would say just formulate your own opinions and tell me what you think during your time or viewings. But with that, everyone, don't forget to be awesome, shed the love, and I'll see y'all next time. Till then, everyone, peace.